so it's Keoshia and I'm back for another video. So if you guys like my hair videos, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you guys subscribe, and let's just get into the video. As you can tell from the title of this video, I am going to talk about hair porosity. This was a requested video, so I hope you guys enjoy it. I did talk about hair porosity a couple of times, maybe once or twice before on my channel. So this will be an updated version. So if you're ready to find out what hair porosity is, keep on watching. So what is hair porosity? Hair porosity simply refers to the ability of your hair to absorb and retain moisture. There are typically three types of hair porosity. There's low, there's normal, and there's high hair porosity. So how can you figure out what type of hair porosity you have? They have actually three different tests that I know of that you can check and see what kind of hair porosity you have. So I'm just going to go through the three tests right quick, tell you what they are, tell you how to do them so you can do it at home. So the first test is the float test. This is where you take a strand of shedded hair and you have to make sure it's clean shedded hair. So after you wash your hair or after you blow dry, if you didn't use any products, any hair that breaks off or sheds, you need to take that hair and use it for this test. Don't use any kind of hair that has any kind of products on it or anything like that, because that will alter the results of this test. Okay, so you can take these couple of strands and you can drop it either in a bowl of water or a cup of water. You're going to leave it in there for 2 to 3 minutes. So after the 2 to 3 minutes, your hair will do one of three things and it will tell you what your porosity is, okay? So if your hair after the 2 to 3 minutes is floating on top of the water, that means you have a low porosity hair. If your hair kind of is in the middle of the water, so say you have a glass of water and it's tall and the hair is like floating around here in the middle of the water, that means you have normal porosity hair. And then if your hair just simply floats to the bottom of the cup or the bowl, that means you have high porosity hair. Next test is called slip and slide, and there's only two results. It's either going to tell you have low porosity hair or high porosity hair. There's like no normal that I could find. So with the slip and slide test, you're going to take a strand of your hair while it's still in your head, and you're going to slide your hair up the shaft. Don't slide it down. Take it from the ends and slide it all the way up. If you feel like little bumps, that means you have high porosity hair. But if you slide your finger up the shaft towards the scalp of your hair and it's super smooth, that means you have a low porosity hair. So the last test is the spray bottle test. So you're just going to take a spray bottle of water on dry hair, take a section of dry hair, and you're going to mist your hair. And you're going to look to see what your hair does. So if the water just sits on the top of your hair and it beads up, that means you have low porosity hair. If your hair quickly absorbs the water and while you're spraying it, then that means you have high porosity hair. But if you spray the water and the water sits there for a few seconds and then is absorbed by your hair, that means you have medium/normal porosity hair. So those are the three types of tests that I know that you can do. That's the research that I came up with. I'm sure you can do like some science, and I think I've heard people say they send their hair off to like this company and they tell you exactly what kind of hair you have by testing it and doing all those other kind of stuff. But if you ain't trying to make no money and trying to do this for free, then you can do these three types of tests at home. You can try all three and see if you get the same results. You can try one and get the results, whatever the case may be. But I'm going to also give you some other tips on how to tell you what kind of porosity hair you have by the characteristics. And then after you find out the characteristics is, then I'm going to tell you how you can take care of whatever type of porosity hair that you have. So let's get into that. So what are the traits of low porosity hair? So some of the traits are is that you have really, really tight closed cuticles and it's really, really hard for your hair to absorb moisture. If water just sits on your hair and beads up, it never absorbs into your hair. If your hair has a hard time taking color, the reason why I can't take color is the cuticles are so close tight that it just cannot absorb that color into your hair. That's another sign. Another sign would be if you have a problem with your hair taking a very long time to dry. Like when you're trying to air dry or do like a heatless style and you've been hours and your hair is still wet and it's not even seeming like it's drying, then that could be signs of low porosity hair as well. Your hair looks really, really healthy, but it has a problem with volume and elasticity. Those are some other signs of having low porosity hair. So any of those traits that I just listed are good signs that you have low porosity hair. You'll need to take certain actions in order to get your hair how you want it to be, get it to dry like it should, and things like that. Porosity or medium porosity hair only has like 2 traits. Everything you do to your hair is fantastic. It takes all the moisture in the world. It dries like it's supposed to. It's always looking shiny and bouncy and full of life. Then you have normal hair and you are super, super lucky, okay? Because you don't have to really do too much. You don't have to do all these techniques and things that you have to do to lower high porosity hair to get your hair to do what you want it to do, or to manipulate it too much to get it to how you want to get it. But I'm not saying that low or high porosity hair is not is bad hair, but I'm just saying there's less you have to do if you have normal or medium porosity hair, whatever you would like to call it, than you would when you have low or high porosity hair. You would have to do more or less, or take special techniques to get your hair to do exactly what you want it to do. So here's the trait of high porosity hair. Your hair absorbs moisture or liquid very, very, very fast, but the problem is it can't retain it. So if you moisturize your hair in the morning and then 2 hours later it's completely dry, like you ain't even put nothing in there, then you have high porosity hair. So your hair looks dull all the time. Like I said, you put all the moisture in there, you do moisture and seal routine and all this kind of stuff, but your hair is still looking like dry and lifeless. Man, high porosity hair will piss you off. Do you understand me? You be like, I did all this work and my hair look like I look like boo-boo the food when I go out the house. So it's really hard for people with high porosity hair because it always looks dull, it always looks dry, and you really, really have to do a lot to get that moisture and that shine. And then some people just don't get it at all. You just have to know that your hair is healthy and you have to accept it for the way that it looks. Even though it looks dull and dry, doesn't necessarily mean it's dull and dry. So, you know, natural hair, relaxed hair, all of it has different traits. And so most people say, well, she didn't do her hair this morning, or why her hair look like that? It may not be the person, it may be the type of porosity hair they have. In order to take care of it, you know, they may moisturize and do all this stuff, but depending on how your hair reacts to these things and how it can accept these things and absorb it and stuff like that and retain it, they may not get the look that you get out of your hair. So I try not to judge people too much when I see their hair looking a certain way, because you just never know what's going on. Now we're going to talk about how to take care of each porosity of hair. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of the traits again, and then I'm going to tell you some tips and tricks to get your hair where you want it to be, kind of manipulate it to do what it is you want it to do. Okay, you guys, I may be looking down because I got my little notes or whatever. I can't remember everything, but I'm trying, okay? So, low porosity hair is moisture resistant, which means that it may be hard to get moisture into your hair, but once you do, you don't need to worry as much about your hair drying out. Your curls can be prone to product buildup, especially from protein-rich products. So I'm going to tell you some of the things they suggest that you should do when you have low porosity hair. So you should use protein-free daily conditioners, because like I said, protein-rich products can cause buildup onto low porosity hair, and it can kind of damage the hair. So you want to try to find things that are protein-free or don't use a lot of protein in your routine. So make sure it has humectant in it. So anything that attracts moisture, like honey and glycerin, those type of things are really, really good for low porosity hair to help you keep the moisture into your hair. Use moisture-rich products, so like jojoba oil, shea butter, coconut oil, mineral oil, those types of things can help you. And make sure they're a very light oil, because like I said, low porosity hair loves to build up product onto the shaft of your hair. So you need something that's really light, that even if you have to use a little bit more, it won't build up so quickly and then you have to wash your hair. Because as you know, low porosity hair, if the product sits on your hair, it's going to weigh your hair down. It's going to make your hair look really oily and streaky, and then you have to wash your hair more frequently. So make sure you're using stuff that is light, light oils and things like that. So like jojoba oil, like I said, shea butters that are really like whipped and light, nothing really heavy or thick. So moving on porosity, whichever you prefer. Remember, this type of hair is a looser cuticle layer allowing for a steady, moderate flow of moisture in and out of your hair. So like I said, with normal and medium porosity hair, your hair does exactly what it's supposed to do. It doesn't take a lot of effort. There's not a lot you have to do to this type of hair to get it to do what you want it to do. Medium porosity hair stands up well to styling, coloring, and chemicals, which means you should be careful, okay? That's because it can absorb all that stuff and it can absorb it fast. It also causes you to be able to damage your hair faster with those chemicals and those colors. Frequent treatment can slowly increase the porosity of your hair, making it more difficult over time to maintain such styles and treatments. So let's talk about how to take care of normal to porosity hair. So avoid proteins in your daily routine. So protein overload is real, you guys. So you really have to, no matter what porosity you have, I think you really still have to modify and make sure you're really paying attention to how much protein you're using in your hair. Deep condition periodically with a product that does include protein. So like I said, you can deep condition with protein, but don't use it on a daily basis unless you feel that you need to. But a weekly basis will be okay, because like I said, I deep condition my hair once a week, and with that once a week deep conditioner, I do have a light protein deep conditioner, and I also have a moisturizing deep conditioner, and I kind of do 2 a month, so 2 moisturizing deep conditioners and 2 proteins, so I kind of do like a tag team, so every other week I will use one or the other. Last porosity is high porosity hair. Now this is the porosity of hair that quickly absorbs moisture but quickly lets it go too. So because the cuticles are open wide and it's really hard to get them to shut to retain the moisture just goes in and out. It just flows in and out, in and out. So imagine, you know, you put pouring water in the top of a bottle, but the bottom of the bottle has a hole in it. As you're pouring water in there, water is coming out, and that's sort of how high porosity hair works. So hair has gaps and holes in the cuticle layer, which allows moisture to quickly pass in and out. This can lead to frizz and tangling in humid weather and extremely dryness in dry weather. You need to be careful with activities like swimming and bathing that involve a lot of moisture getting into your hair, since this can cause breakage. Okay, so too much moisture can definitely cause breakage in high porosity hair. Okay, so things you should do to help combat high porosity hair is to use anti-humectic, especially when it's humid. It will seal your cuticles and prevent them from absorbing too much moisture. So for example, use raw shea butter, coconut oil, extra virgin olive oil, things that are heavy oil. Don't use those light oils like we said in low porosity hair. You need something heavy that can seal those cuticles and keep them closed. Use leave-in conditioners and moisturizers, which provide your hair with moisture throughout the day, and make sure you seal it with one of those types of oils or butters that I told you about. So yes, that is what the traits are and how you can take care of high porosity hair. Okay, you guys, so while we're talking about this topic, and now that I've told you the different types of hair porosity, how you can test for it, what are the traits, how to take care of it, let's just talk about good, bad hair. This is not something to say that your hair is bad, that your hair is good. It's to tell you what kind of hair you have so you can have the best hair that is on your head. Everybody wants to talk about, well, she got good hair and I got bad hair, so I'm just not going to be able to do anything with my hair. That is so not true. I know people who have 4C low porosity, 4C high porosity. I see people on YouTube who just do most miraculous things to hair that you think you can't even do anything to. So do your research, look up your hair type, look up your porosity type, and see what other people are doing to their hair. Now, I will warn you, you can't do exactly what other people do to their hair, no matter if they have the same type hair of you or the same porosity of hair of you. Everybody's hair is completely different, and it's really based off your genetics and how your hair likes or don't like things. So you still have to find out what really works for you. This is not something that you can do overnight. This is not something that you're going to know exactly what to do every single time or every single day or, you know, in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. This is something you're going to have to research. If you really want to have good, healthy hair, you're going to have to do your research. You're going to have to do trial and error. You're going to have to try different products. So I want you not to think of this as who has good hair and bad hair. I want you to think of this as how is this going to help me and my hair and me to get get where I want my hair to be on the journey that I am on right now. Because remember, you cannot be on anybody else's journey because everybody doesn't have the same hair. And even though you have the same hair type, and even though you have the same porosity, doesn't mean that the products that that person uses is going to work for you. That doesn't mean that the hairstyles and the things that person can get their hair to do doesn't mean you're going to be able to get your hair to be able to do those things. So you have to do what's best for you and your hair. So remember that when you're doing this. Okay, you guys, so that's the end of this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you guys subscribe. Get me to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Share it with all your friends. Turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any more videos from me. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye.